Welcome to Marcor Studios, where here we will be interviewing different industry professionals and educating our homeowners as well as the industry as a whole. We hope you enjoy the show. Welcome to Marcor Studios. We are here today with RJ with Dynamite Tool. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Gina.
So talk to us. What do you do? Tell us about Dynamite Tools.
So I'm second generation within the business. My father started the business in 1977.
Oh, I know that pain.
There you go. Yeah. And, so we're an all industrial hand and power tool supply. Okay. We are a retail location open to the public. Okay, the first location was in Selden, which was opened up, like I said, in 1977, in a strip mall in Selden Plaza next to Wallbombs. If you're from the area, you know what I'm talking about. And that ran pretty good. And then until 1988, he opened up about 11,000 square foot location in Bohemia, which is right by MacArthur Airport. And that acted as the main hub. And then he also opened up another location in Farmingdale. So we had the Selden and Farmingdale location as the two satellite locations.
Okay.
And that worked out real great until the internet wave came, so
yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. So when you're not getting as many sales or you're getting sales through different channels and margins are affected, when you're in a place that's not rent controlled, so we closed those locations and then just acted doing business out of the Bohemia location, which has been great. It's kind of great because it serves both North Shore and South Shore, mostly South Shore. But we're right in central Long Island, and it's, we can get parts of Nassau and all the way out east. So it works out pretty good.
So from our own experience, you guys are more than just tools. I mean, the best thing was when your team came in and they were, telling us how like all of our pneumatic guns you guys can fix and all of our,
absolutely.
Any tool, generators, snow blowers, anything that we need. I think that's something that, can you elaborate a little bit more?
Well,
I don't think people know you have that side.
Yeah, absolutely. Service is a huge part of the business. I mean, it's definitely a margin driver on a business aspect.
For sure.
But it's a huge part of our business that we offer to our customers and what separates us from competition, right?
Yeah.
So I think when you're dealing with products such as the ones that we sell, it's very important to be able to service it. So because as soon as you tell them you don't service and you have to send them somewhere else,
you're gonna
lose that customer.
Yep.
Okay. So from soup to nuts, right? That's the saying.
Yep.
So we like to provide everything.
No pun intended on the nuts.
Exactly. And but we it's great to service our customers in every facet of the products that we sell.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Yep.
Now I've been seeing these cool cards that we got. How do contractors get those cards? So you want to explain what those cards are? And I know a lot of Libby members have been getting them on contractors roundtables.
So we have these like a
membership card.
Like almost. A membership card, right? So it's one of these new facets of marketing that we're doing where if, let's say you're a GC and you're not necessarily the one buying all the tools, right? Yep. So, but you have a lot of subcontractors, but I yet have a good relationship with the GC or something like that.
Yep.
Then we give these cards to the GC to hand out to all the subs. So when they come, we know that there's a relation to the rapport that we've already built.
Yeah.
So, and that, that helps just kickstart a relationship with these customers, which is always a great introduction, a great way to
And so it's like a little like discount card. They can come in.
It's not like, it's very hard because we sell a lot of different types of products, right?
Yep.
So power tools all down to accessories, to hand tools, and there's different margins in everything that we sell. Some things we have room in, some things we don't. So when they have these cards, when we come down, I mean, we just, wherever we have the room, we give it. And, but it's also to say, okay, this is a full service customers coming to us, not only to buy the tool, but we know that they're probably interested in the service end of things. Yep. So we kind of roll out the red carpet when that comes.
Yeah, listen, the pickup and the delivery and the maintenance and the turnaround time on what we're experiencing has been great. You guys were one of the best things we found because it's, a pneumatic nailer goes down, a generator goes down, a compressor goes down.
Well, Marcor is a great example because, you know, especially with like nail guns and compressors, right? So we try to price ourselves with those items, especially the compressors, you know, almost to the lowest that we possibly can, because that's not where we're going to do the most business on that product. It's on the service, okay, on the service side of things. But you know, the nail guns, it's very competitive, but you have to, you know, always have them available, you know. So if you're going on a new job, maybe you hired a whole new crew, okay, so you need 10 guns. You don't want to go walk into a place that's like, okay, we have 3. So now you got to go pick up some guns here. You got to pick up some guns there. So, you know, we're true believers in having an abundance of stock of all our key products of the, you know, at least the things that we want to be known for.
Yeah.
You know.
So let's talk. One thing we've been seeing a lot is trucks getting broken into, and I know you guys are kind of like second in line to find out what's going on. Talk to us about
their first call is always usually the law enforcement, and then, you know, we see them or hear from them, either phone call or they're walking in first thing in the morning, you know, and telling us the whole situation.
Yeah.
So, you know, to go into detail, the one thing I've witnessed is that, number one, these things come in waves. Okay, so, you know, if I get one call, usually within an hour or two, I'm going to get 2 or 3 more.
Yep.
And here's the thing. People would think that they're in the same areas.
No, they're not. Yeah.
Okay. So, and usually also too, just based on my follow-up with law enforcement and stuff, you'll find out that these guys aren't even from in-state.
No.
Okay. So they'll have somebody scout it out, give them the information. They come, they hit the place, and boom, they're out of state.
Yep.
And before you know it, those tools are in pawn shops, or even could be anywhere, you know? So I just think it's very, very, very important to be cautious, to be, you know, vigilant and diligent also too in what you're going to do to secure your property.
Any recommendations for our listeners on like what are some things that they can do to really prevent?
The strongest locks that you can on your vans. Number one, have only one entrance to the van if you can. You know, sometimes it's hard. You need a side entrance. You know, some guys need a side entrance. Some will only go to the back, or they'll have the storage cab totally separated from the driving cab, and then just have the side entrances in the cab itself. So, and then you would either pull up alongside or back up to a brick wall. Yeah. You know, that's actually in regards to van security or truck security, that's the best thing I could recommend. Backing up to a garage door is good, but you know, you'll literally have guys that will kick in a garage door just to break into the back of a truck.
And the problem is they do it so quickly. Like by the time I get a call from the security company that, you know, the alarm's going off or somebody did something, they're in and out so quick. I mean, it's interesting. We have up at the end of our block, because we're in an industrial area, we have a U.S. postal box, right? And they pick up the mail a couple times a day. We drop our mail at the end of the day, and we mailed out checks. Right. And when we were mailing out the checks, all of a sudden we had some checks go missing. And we were like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden I start to see in the bank account like $32, $34, like, and I'm like, those aren't our checks. Something's not right. And our head of finance comes to us, and I was like, yeah, this doesn't look right. So let's look into this. But we really couldn't figure out what was going on. It looked like somebody, you know, remade checks. Well, it turns out a couple months later, the feds walk in.
Oh, geez.
And I was like, what do we do? And like, what's going on here? And it was an investigation. Wow. What happened was there were guys out of another state came. They were breaking into the mailboxes. They were actually... That's why they changed the mailbox where it used to have that lever. Right. Now they made it that thin little thing you could just slide, because what they were doing is they were sticking hangers in with the magnet on the bottom, or that had some sticky stuff to it. Right. Going in, grabbing whatever mail they could, taking the checks out, recreating the checks. Right. So what happened was this particular the reason why the feds got involved is that they got caught on the way. They dumped the car of all places at JFK. Wow. With all of the mail still in it. If anything, they couldn't do anything. Right. So they tracked some stuff back, and then we ended up being able to hand over the checks to them. But it's, you know, these crimes, people are getting caught eventually, but it's scary.
You know, when you're running a business, and, you know, I mean, even though to some of the scale that both Marcor and Dynamite may do, we're still considered small businesses. Yeah. Right? So, and, you know, we're targets sometimes.
Well, because it hurts. Yeah. You know, and sometimes, I mean, we've seen it over the years that it's even been competitors breaking into each other's cars, and like that's insane to me. Like we're a unity in my vision of like this is our industry, and we got to work together.
Absolutely.
So you guys start seeing guys working against each other and who's grabbing stuff. I mean, tools are expensive, and you can't operate. You know, all of a sudden, a guy comes in and you break into someone's truck. You got nothing to work the next day. You're out of work that day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, you know, in regards to the tools, because you'll be able to go to Home Depot when you're done and let's say get the material you need for the day, but you're not going to find the best tools for the job in which you want to find. You know, so if, you know, you may be able to, you know, maybe get enough tools for what you need for that day when you walk in there. But, you know, to replace all those tools to the caliber in which that you built it, you know, you got to walk into a place like us.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about it's an investment. You're not talking about, you know, a DeWalt tool from Home Depot. You're talking about, you know,
anybody like yourself is going to understand that, you know, the quality of your work can only go so far based on the tools that you're using. Yeah. You know, so, I mean, you can find workarounds and this, that, the other thing, and you'll get it done. The finished product will work, but to be as efficient and, you know, safe also too as possible, you got to have the right stuff.
For sure. Yeah. Now, you guys got really involved in Long Island Builders Institute. I've been a member for probably about 13, 14 years now. I love it. It took some time to get some relationships in there, and you know, now years later, it's obviously rolling very nicely. What's your take? Are you enjoying?
I'm definitely enjoying it. I'm loving the new contacts that we're and relationships that we're building. Definitely, you know, I definitely see the long-term game of it. Yeah. You know, because that's what it is. You're not going to join in and all of a sudden get all this business.
No, and I love that you just said that because people think they write a check and they just show up to a meeting and you're not. So what have you found the best ways to get success out of the Builders Institute? Because a lot of people want to join it. A lot of people are interested in getting involved in it, but they just don't know how to navigate it. Or they give up too soon.
I think it's as simple as don't go in there just thinking you're going to take. Yeah. You know what I mean? You have to have something in order to get something out of it. You have to bring something to the table. Yeah. You know, so if you're not bringing anything to the table, you know.
Well, I mean, you guys were smart. You brought the discount cards. You guys are getting involved in some, you know, some of the committees, and you guys are showing your face at a lot of these events, and you know, those are the important things. And I think that's why you guys out of the gate really got a lot of success. And I think that you guys are such a role model for new members coming in because you are a newer member.
That's awesome.
And I think that it's great for you to be able to speak to other new members to say, like, here's what worked for us. You guys are what, a year, not even a year in?
Not even a year in. I think it's October, November.
Yeah. And you guys really, you really made a lot of traction. Everybody, I mean, I go to meetings, everybody knows who you guys are, and I mean...
It's all part branding, right?
Yeah. So you guys do a great job with
that. People think branding is, you know, nice shirts, nice cards, nice signs and stickers, which that's all important.
Yeah, but the personalities behind it and the likability is very important, and you guys got a great team up there that you guys have a likable team. You have people that are representing you in the right manner and showing up and wanting to be a part of something and saying, hey, what can I do here versus what am I getting here? I'm so glad you're
saying that because that brings me to a part of this business, which I think you're perfect for being a woman in this business. Right?
Okay, let's go.
Yeah,
what do you got?
No, but
I'm not perfect for a whole lot of things in a male-dominated business, so let's go.
Well, no, but I think, you know, when you're in this business, you have to be real. Yeah. You have to be real. And, you know, and you also need to be able to put someone in their place when they're wrong, you know, because we're dealing with things where safety is involved.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so... You know, if somebody's being ignorant or being arrogant and is just having some kind of ego measuring contest, and you know the ramifications of this could be disastrous. Yeah, you got to step in there and be like, no. You know, so like for me, for example, if a guy wants to come in and cut steel with a blade that's meant for cutting wood, you know, and he's like, oh, I've done it before. And I know the RPMs aren't right. As soon as he touches that steel with that blade, carbide teeth could be flying everywhere.
For sure.
And before I know it, I'm getting cease and desist or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't even, you're like, I don't even know what he was using this for, but here you're getting, you know, it's America and everybody sues for everybody.
It's like when you're building a house and you want the homeowner to cut corners because they want to cut costs. Right. And you're like, no, I'm not going to do it that way. Nope. I need, you know, you want a gable there. You want that to look right. This is how it needs to be done. 100%. These are the pieces of wood you got to put in there. Yep. You know, this is how much steel you got to put in there, you know? So, you know, it all correlates and comes down to us also too. You know, so
I think that you hit the nail on the head. It's about being real. It's like I said, there you have to have that likability factor. I mean, it's an obstacle sometimes I find, and I sit on various different boards, and being the young female in the industry, first off, my age always works against me because I'm still very young. But
I'm 43, so yeah.
I'm 35.
Wow.
And, I mean, I've been doing this for 17 years, so it's hard for people to realize that I've been doing this for so long.
You're a whiz kid. I know, but I saw you. That's very cool.
But
and you originally were going to be an engineer? Is that what you were going to do?
No, I was actually in finance. I was in corporate finance. Investment banking more so.
Sure.
Hated corporate finance, but I don't even know how I got through that particular class.
Yeah, I wanted to be a cop, and that changed.
Oh, I did too. Actually, this all started. I started at John Jay.
You would have made a good cop. I wouldn't have.
I did get called. My mom threw away the physical. She threw away the letter, and I thank her now for it.
I think we both dodged bullets in that with what we see today.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I have so much respect for what they are put through.
We have family, and and it's scary. A lot of times you see certain things, you're like, oh my gosh, but ultimately I was going for it to be a cop. Then I was like, well, actually I really want to be in the FBI.
Right.
So that's when the finance degree came in, and then I realized I was like, well, that's not what I want to do. And then I got out of I interned on Wall Street at 18. I got my degree I got out of high school at 16. I got my bachelor's at 19. And once I got my bachelor's, I was like, this isn't what I want to do. This is really backstabbing. And it was also 2009, so it wasn't like the ideal time to get into finance.
Yeah, I was waitering in Sandy Springs, Georgia at the time, just to tell you how bad it was.
Yeah.
And nothing against people that were waitering, but I had already been selling tools.
But you were also probably making more money than some of the other guys.
Well, yeah. I was still hustling, but it was, it was not easy,
No.
Out of college, I worked for Milwaukee for a while.
Okay.
I worked for, and I had left the industry. I was a musician, and I had delusions of grandeur. Thought I'd go and hit the road for a little bit.
Jelly Roll did it.
Yeah, right. Sure. And it just, I thought, let me move to Georgia as a rock musician. That's not a smart move. But I was there for a little bit, and everything ended up working out. I came back. I worked for Hilti for a few more years. Worked for Trade Supply Group, which they own now, Roberts Plywood, Watermill Lumber, Manhattan Laminates, a few divisions. Sorry. And but it, then eventually I ended up coming back and working with family.
Yep.
And I always knew that was where I was going to end up.
Yeah.
But it, just like I'm sure yourself, you going through the experience you did, in turn did the same thing, where you had your own experiences, made your own name for yourself, and gained your own confidence. I always, and you could probably relate to this, right? Like, my father never taught me a damn thing.
No, same.
I learned everything from him.
Exactly.
I learned everything from him.
But my father says he threw me to the wolves. He's like, I'm not going to teach you this. I'm not handing you this. You have to figure this out for yourself. Mm-hmm. And there were things that I ended up learning by him making it hard for me.
Right.
That was what gave me the edge to be able to take over and take over at a very young age. I was barely 30 when I started taking over the business. And as a daughter doing it, and an old-fashioned Italian father, it was very hard.
I can only imagine.
Big power struggle.
Yeah. This
definitely,
is my Italian side, so I get it.
It definitely wasn't easy when it came to I can't imagine. I tell him all the time, you took instruction from me. But to his defense, and to my defense, I was guiding him in the right direction, and he knew that I was here to protect him and here to insulate the company. And
You're very lucky. I wasn't as lucky. I came in and eventually I took over operations about 10, 12 years ago. But for him to relinquish that power to where, I could have, he just couldn't.
It was a game of chicken, and I won.
Yeah, so. There you go. See, and for me, unfortunately, and we don't have to go too much into this. I had a brother who passed away in 2020.
I'm sorry.
And that was very, very hard for him. So it got to the point where I'm not going to argue with my father about Sawzall blades anymore. You understand what I'm saying? It was just me and him. I didn't have any other siblings. And but then COVID was going on. Yeah. Okay, it's 2021. And we had a lot of business that was coming in from COVID. And things were pretty good. But then when that subsided, it was now time, all right, we have to invest into the business to keep this going.
Yep.
And that was something he wasn't willing to do. So I pleaded with him, and eventually, we got him retired, is kind of how I like to say it. He's very happy. And I have some new partners now, and we're really this last 8 months to a year, we've really been able to take the business on the trajectory that we know is going to lead to success.
It sure shows.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's
but
awesome.
we were talking, when it comes to like being young in the industry, and I was mentioned before, like the boards, like it's kind of hard when you're dealing with certain things. Like you said, sometimes you have to open up your mouth and kind of speak up and
be assertive.
And it's hard because sometimes I could sit in a boardroom and I'm not shy to open my mouth, and I don't open my mouth unless I feel that it's a valid point. And I know sometimes it frustrates people, and I used to let it get to me that I was bothering people with like me opening my mouth, but I'm like, but at the end of the day, I see what's happening by me opening my mouth, and I'm like, but it's working, and things are, the needle's moving now. And, there's been these boards that nothing's happened in 10 years or 5 years, and we've got the needle, and I'm not doing this to pat myself on the back, but the needle's moving and things are happening, and now we've got action. And I'm like, I guess it was a good thing I'm opening my mouth and I'm fighting for what I feel is right. But it's so hard, growing up, I'm sure you can relate. Growing up, it's like, first off, a lot of people think that, daddy hands this to you, and you're
going to get that no matter what. You're going to get that no matter what. So, I thought this is how dumb I was when I was younger. Okay. So I thought my mouth was what was going to get me there. Okay. And and I was lucky where I always kind of knew it was my actions that was going to get me there. But, it got to the point where I was just like, what? I'm just going to make sure nobody in this place will sell more tools than I ever will, and not that I wouldn't give opportunities to everybody else, but, nobody's going to check in that giant order, get it priced, get it out faster than I'm going to. I put myself in the shop and fixed tools for a year and a half.
Yes. And you learn that side of things when you know everything as an owner. Like, I've ripped the roofs, I've run the service truck, I've did the books, I've done sales, I've run production, I've done ordering, I've driven the box, whatever end I had to do where, God forbid, somebody were to get up and go, I could sit in their seat and I could do their job. And I think that that's something, it's funny because I had a consultant a couple of years ago that I brought on just as like a acting CFO. And one thing he said is, you're the conductor now. You cannot, going back to music, you're the conductor. You can't go back to playing the drums anymore.
Right.
And I said, I beg to differ because I will never stop playing the drums.
Right.
I will play the piano, I will play the guitar, and I will still be the conductor. But nobody in here will know that I don't know how to still play the piano.
People still ask me why I'm the one opening the store every day and lifting up the steel doors, and it's like, well, I'm starting the day there. Correct. I'm setting the foundation for that day, because there is not one day, at least in our business, I'm sure it's the same for you, that is the same.
No.
Okay, not
and you got to pivot constantly, and you curveballs thrown into you.
You got to be on your toes and ready for anything that's going to be thrown at you. So, and the last thing I want to do is, leave some of my employees there, which I have total faith in them, but if they're going to need me, I want to be there. So it's, so I'll get there. I'll make sure I set the foundation. Everything's good. And, my favorite thing, as much as I love everything that I do there, sales is just my favorite thing, so it just covers, to me, it covers every aspect of business, sales. So you're building the rapport, you're opening the line of business, you're closing the line of business, you're following up with the line of business. So it's
huge portion, the follow up.
Absolutely. It's, if I think that I'm just going to gain this customer back based on price and availability, then somebody's always going to be able to beat you at price and availability. So you got to be likable, you got to build that rapport. And, I may not remember your name the next time you walk in, but I will definitely remember what you bought. And I'm going to say, hey, how is that Sawzall? Do you need new blades? Oh, look at these new blades Diablo just came out. Look at this new Sawzall that Milwaukee just came out with.
That's why you guys are on this trajectory, and it shows.
Thank you. Thank you.
I really appreciate you guys coming in today and being a part of this. And I love what you guys are doing at Libby. I love what you're doing at Long Island Contractors Roundtable and what you guys are doing for us. So thank you so much. And
awesome.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You got it.